Hey, welcome back to Club Junkie's League Night. What's in the bag? Week 6. So it's crazy. Already through 5 weeks. We're into week 6. And last week was interesting. I played decent. I ended up shooting 40, and it's a bummer because I bogeyed the 9th hole. Just hit a tee shot way left off the tee box. And I wasn't out of bounds, but I basically could have been. I had to punch out. It was one of those shots where you're in kind of the bushes, near a fence, all this stuff, these trees. I could bring the club back maybe 2 feet, and that was the only swing I could get on it. So knocked it out into the rough, and then just flat out hit a pitching wedge fat. I mean, I had 126 yards to the middle of the green where the pin was, and I just flat out chunked the shot. So ended up making bogey on that hole and shot 40, which is a little bit of a bummer because not that I played great. I played the first few holes really well, but then kind of fell apart a little bit. But I kept it going. I was just getting up and down for bogey or par, and doing things enough to not make a big number. And then 9 just kind of killed me there. So like I said, shot 40, and things that went really well. I just say driver. I only hit it once, so that was the Callaway Elyte Triple Diamond TD. Only hit it once on the par 5. Actually hit it a little off the heel and still just crushed one right down the middle. Dead center of the fairway, great shot and great ball speed for coming off that heel. But right there, and I actually got pin high in 2, hit a basically driver hybrid. I was pin high in 2 just on the left. So driver went really well. The irons also really solid. I hit the irons really solid all day. They were actually a touch long. It was a little windy, and I was thinking the wind was kind of going to hurt the ball a little bit more. And on a couple shots, I hit it right where I wanted to, and just ended up being long, like just over the green and stuff like that. So I had to chip back on. But hit the irons really solid, really straight. I'm trying to think of a shot that was like really poor, and I just don't remember one. But really tight, really consistent. Wedges were good all day. The 60V grind, of course, saved me in a couple shots. Like number 3, same thing, kind of hit it to the left of the green, bounced up against the fence. But at least I had a little bit of a swing there, so got that thing on the green and was able to pull out a bogey there. But the wedges were really good all day. The 56, same thing, chipped and pitched with it really well. I would say things that didn't work well, 3-wood. The G440 LST, just me and we had a lot of draw going on. Like I said, on 9, I drew it there. Over on 6, I basically actually hit a ball OB. Ended up hitting a phenomenal second shot to make bogey there, but or third shot after the drop. But hooked that one there, and then even on the first hole, I hit it off the heel and ran it down kind of into the left rough. So that one wasn't great. And then hybrid, the King Tech hybrid. On the par 5, I absolutely smoked it. That was like the 3rd shot of the day with it. It hit it really good. I mean, just left of the green from like I think it was like 217 to the middle or something like that. Really great shot. But the shot before that on 6 tee box, again, hit it way left. Oh no, that was hybrid. Hybrid on number 3, hit that left into the bunker on the left. Just didn't get that one going really as well till the end. But once I hit it well, it went really, really solid. So putter, the Queen Bee 16 was really good also. Made a couple, didn't make everything, but made a couple like 6-8 footers. One for par on the par 3, and another one for bogey that kind of saved that a little bit, and I thought that kind of saved the round. But again, shot 40, not too bad for not playing exceptionally well. And scrambled a little bit. So if I could have just maybe not hit that pitching wedge fat on 9, I probably could have shot 39. So, and there were a couple other mistakes out there, but that was fine. So this is week 6, jumping in with, of course, 14 brand new clubs because why not? We're going to do kind of a little mix. We're going to have one really old club in there that a friend of mine inspired me to try again. So, all right, so we're going to start with driver, as we always do, the top end of the bag. And this one's probably one that you probably didn't expect coming, but I'm really excited for this. I've heard some really good things about these drivers, and it's going to be fun to see them. I've been hitting this a little bit in my mat and my net outside. Really impressed with the ball speed numbers. So it's going to be fun to hit this. This is going to be the brand new Srixon ZXi driver. So brand new here. And like I said, from the fitters I talked to when we did our best driver thing, really high on how this thing performed. It's they are really getting, Srixon is really doing a good job in terms of every generation having a better driver. But I was hitting this out on my net, saw some really great smash factor and ball speed numbers. So excited to get this one out there and hit it. The weights on this is a 9-degree head. It's actually turned up to +1 and flat. So again, same thing. I've been kind of drawing the ball a little bit. We're going to set this thing flat, but still go up 1. So 9-degree head, playing 10 degrees. A little bit flat, and with the weights, we're leaving the heavy weight in the heel. I know that's kind of counterproductive. You made it flat, but it seems like when I swing clubs, stuff with a ton of weight out in the toe, I just don't square up right. And when I move weight into the heel, it just kind of feels better, and I feel like I release it more consistently. So we're gonna leave it there for now. But this thing here from Address looks really good. Love the crown on it. Got this little like texture to it. And this iFlex face seems to be, like I said, producing great ball speed. So we're gonna see how straight, how forgiving it goes, but I'm really excited to hit this. They are a little bit loud, I will say. If Srixon could just quiet them down a touch, I think these things would be really, really good. But the performance should be pretty solid. So excited to hit this. We're playing the back nine. So I'm gonna hit this thing on, the hole number 1, which is 10. So I'm gonna hit 10, maybe 11, 13, 16, 17, and probably not 18, even though I might. But yeah, I gotta hit this on a handful of holes. And this is shafted up with a Project X HZRDUS Gen 5 Black. So this is the newest one here with the 40 carbon. You can kind of see the carbon in the middle and the 40 optimized carbon on the tip. They put that little logo. But this is kind of like a lower launch, lower spin, kind of mid-low launch, low spin shaft. Kind of a stiff profile. This thing's a 6.0, so this is a 60 gram 6.0 or stiff. But this thing here, I've hit it in a couple of the clubs. I don't know if I've hit it in drivers so much. I think I've hit it in a couple fairway woods and a couple hybrids. It's actually got a fairly good feel for HZRDUS. HZRDUS tends to be a little bit boardy, a little bit harsh, but this is actually a little bit smoother than some of the other ones, previous versions of HZRDUS that I've hit. So don't have the all-fit tip on here just because these Srixon screws are a pain to get out, so I haven't switched it out. But we're going to go, this is kind of the stock configuration it came in other than changing the hosel setting. So excited to try this one and see how it goes because, like I said, I've heard some really good things from some people about these drivers. Now 3-wood, we're going to move into 3-wood, and this is going to be one, again, that I'm really excited to try. I'm excited to try everything, but really excited to try because I hit this over the winter and I really liked it. It's probably really going to compete for gamer 3-wood, and this 3-wood is going to be the Callaway Elyte Titanium. This is the standard 3-wood, the 15-degree head. I'm actually got it set to the neutral setting, +1, so it's playing 16 degrees, so almost a little bit like a 4-wood, but the bigger head. This thing, the nice thing is it sits so open that you can move it up a degree and it still looks square, which is always awesome. With this one here, got the heavyweight back, lightweight forward for more stability, more launch, but this thing here is just a flat-out rocket launcher. When I was hitting this thing over the winter, I was seeing ball speed numbers that were comparable to mini drivers, so this thing really is hot, but it's super forgiving as well. I love that the face height is shallow enough where you can hit off the deck, still deep enough where hitting it off the tee isn't too much of a concern. You don't have to worry about hitting it too high on the face. I like the look from Address. Like I said, sits really neutral, and I love seeing the kind of that composite crown. I kind of like the look. It's kind of cool showing off the tech, but a really good head. I like the sound and feel. It's got that high pitch, the kind of that ting to it that you'd expect from titanium. But a real big rocket launcher. So excited to hit this out there. And again, back nine's not as much of a 3-wood kind of hole, but I'll probably hit it on 11 and then maybe on 9, depending on the thing. And then the par 5, I probably won't need it. The par 5 is too short on the back 9, but this thing is an absolute cannon. So excited to hit this. And this is shafted up with a KBS Prototype, which is actually the new PGI wood shaft. That is, I'm sorry, PGW shaft on the PGI is the iron shaft. PGW shaft that just came out. So this is a little bit higher launching, a little bit more higher spinning, while still being super stable and consistent. And I've hit this thing, well, when I first started hitting this head, I hit it with the stock shaft. I've hit it with this. This is a 70 stiff, and it's been really good so far. I like the feel of this. It's actually got a little bit of a stiffer feel than you would expect from a higher launching shaft. But this thing seems to be really consistent and a good pairing on this. But yeah, this is the 70 stiff model here. I love the graphics on it, all white with the Prototype and the Golf WX logo, KBS logo. But this is a really good combo and should be pretty long. It's probably long enough where I could actually probably leave driver at home and just play that. But I need 14 clips in the bag. So that is 3-wood. Now for either 7-wood hybrid, this is where we go super old school. So a friend of mine, Justin, put this club in our little group chat that we have with a bunch of golf guys who always talk about a bunch of golf stuff. And he threw this old hybrid back in the bag and said he was absolutely loving it again. And this is a hybrid that I've loved forever. I think this is one of the best that Callaway ever made. But this is the Callaway Big Bertha Alpha 815. So yes, this came out 2015-ish, 2016. I think it's 2015 with the logo, with the name on it, but they made 2 versions of it. They made a Big Bertha 815 and then an Alpha. The Alpha was a little bit smaller, kind of more compact, kind of player's look to it. And this thing here, shaping-wise, looks great. I think it's kind of a mid-size. It was probably big back then. Today, it's probably considered a little bit more compact, a little bit smaller. But it's got a deep face on it, easy to hit off the tee. It maybe not have the highest flight out of everything, but it's still got in the air pretty easily. good sound and feel, and this thing I've had ever since. And it's one of those clubs I just never got rid of because I loved it so much. It's gone through a couple different shafts in my lifetime, but this thing is an absolute beast when I had it before, and I love this thing. It stayed in the bag for a long time. But A15, this is a 20-degree head, which at the time I think was a 3. Which is still kind of around a 3 now. 3s have kind of shifted more towards 19 degrees, but this is a 3 hybrid, so 20-degree head here. I did turn it down 1 because I do think that maybe with the gapping, with how hot the 3 wood is, and the 4 hybrid that I'm going to play, I think this may need another degree to try to get it out there and maybe help the gapping there. But this thing is really, really good, and I would say it's one of those that probably still hangs with a lot of hybrids today. So super excited it is. Justin kind of influenced me to kind of put this back in the bag. And we're going to give it a go and see if it still has magic left. His still does. Let's see if mine still has magic. But, I mean, it's got dings. It's got some chips in it. This thing's old. It's got, some stuff up near high in the face where, hits balls out of the rough and things like that. So definitely it's seen its plentiful shots out on the course. But we're going to try it again and see how it goes. And this is shafted up with a Fujikura Atmos HB Black Tour Spec 9X. So this is the heavy 9X. This is back when I swung it a little faster back in the day. And then Fujikura was kind enough to etch it with the Golf 3X exclusively for Brian Knutson, which is pretty cool. But this is kind of their lower launching. I think it was like mid-low launch, lower spinning shaft in the hybrid, but super smooth. The Atmos Tour Spec stuff was always super smooth, whether the wood shafts, hybrid shafts. But still a lot of them in play today. You'll see some blues in play. I want to say there might be a black or two from some what's in the bags that we've seen, but you'll still see some of those Atmos Tour Specs out there because they were just really smooth, really good. They had stiffer handles in them, so some guys still play them. But this would be a cool old combo from 2015. We'll see if it has any magic left and how it fits in the bag this week. Now the next club, we're going to get into a 4-iron, which I, of course, have been playing a lot of hybrids for 4-irons. This week is no different, but we're going to go something newer in the hybrid line, and this is the TaylorMade Qi35 Rescue. So this is the standard Rescue, the one here. There is no Tour anymore. They kind of combined the standard Rescue and the Tour into one. So this is a little bit, again, more compact than maybe previous generations. Now has the adjustable hosel, which I love. You can kind of dial that in. Single interchangeable weight in there to kind of dial in swing weight, but carbon fiber crown on it, all that. It is a good looking hybrid. I think when you set it down, there's a little bit more loft kind of face that you see there, and the leading edge almost looks like it sweeps out a little bit, kind of out away from the club head. But overall, I think the shape is great. I think it looks really good. TaylorMade always, I think, does a nice job with hybrids and their shaping. So this one here, same thing, kind of like the A15. Face is deep enough where I think hitting it off the tee will be fine. Hitting it off the deck is no problem. I got to hit this out of the Kingdom end of last year when I was out there getting shown the QI35 lineup. But really good, again, sound and feel, that nice stainless steel sound, ting to it when it goes. But this one should be good. This is a 4 hybrid, 22 degrees. So it should replace that 4-iron fairly well. Maybe be a hair strong. I was thinking about taking it up 1 degree. But I'm going to leave it for now. So this one is shafted up with a Fujikura Ventus HB Blue 9X. Again, 9X a little bit stiff as I'm trying to get some speed back, but I actually built it up without tipping it. They say in these 22 degree heads, you should tip it about a 1/2 inch. I didn't tip it at all, so it's going to play maybe a hair softer there. But this one here, excited to hit it. This is the new 2024 one. Haven't hit this one yet. I hit the red in the Callaway Elyte, but now get to hit the blue. It's kind of the mid-launch, kind of mid-low spin shaft. So I played Ventus Blues, the previous versions of these, and really liked them. I had an 8 and a 9X that I used between hybrids and the utility iron. Really liked those. I thought they were easy to launch. They played really well. So excited to hit the 2024 one and kind of compare it in terms of feel and all that. But this should be a great combo for the 4-iron. Again, 4-iron, I don't know how much I'm going to hit. Maybe into the par 5. Maybe on 15, depending on the wind, because there's a creek that you want to lay up to. But other than that, I don't know necessarily where I'll hit it other than those kind of 2 spots. So now we get into irons, and irons are still, we're going to go from hybrid into still a combo set. So we just saw out on tour on the Charles Schwab, we saw the brand new Titleist irons, the new T-Series irons, and it kind of said, hey, you know what? I should break out my T-Series iron. So the first iron in my set is going to be the 5-iron, and this is going to be the Titleist T200. So this is the hollow body design, a little hotter face, a little more speed, a little higher launch, a little maybe lower spin than the T150, but still forged, really good feel. I love this T200 compared to last year, the previous version. I think they made a huge upgrade in sound and feel on this, but also really good ball speed, really good spin. It just, it looks great, has very little offset. For an iron that is more forgiving and a little bit faster, it looks like a player's club, which is really nice. But really like this in the 5 iron, helps get the ball up in the air and adds a little bit of speed, gets it away from the 6 iron to keep the gapping correct. I do have the 4 iron of this. But when last time I was at a TPI, we kind of did a little like gapping session, and the 4 iron and the 5 iron were just only like 5 yards apart. I just wasn't hitting the 4 iron far enough. So that's why we're going to go hybrid, but we'll keep the T200 in there. But I like this a lot. I love hitting this into par 3s and stuff like that. Just a really great iron to hit, and especially a great one for the long irons and pairing up with the T150s. Now this is shafted up with an Aerotech steel fiber I110CW. These here, like I said, I got fit into this set out at TPI when these things first launched. And these things are really, really good. So these shafts here, good feel to them, really smooth, really consistent, but they get the ball up in the air. I know they're kind of like mid-launching in terms of on paper. I hit them a little bit higher than that, but I love the fact that they get up high, they land soft, and when you hit them into greens, you don't have to worry about distance control. The ball's going to land, it's going to stop within a little area, depending if you're hitting out of the rough, out of the fairway, whatever. But these things are easy to hit, easy to get up in the air, and I love the feel of them. They're very smooth and consistent. So a great setup there. That's going to be the 5 iron. And then as you would expect, as I kind of hinted to, the rest of the set, which is going to be 6 through pitching wedge, is going to be the Titleist T150. So like I said, we just saw the new versions of these out on tour, which means they will probably be coming to us later in the year, which is exciting. But the T150 is kind of the first iron that I used to just call the cheater. It is just a blend of a little bit of distance, playability, forgiveness, good sound and feel. It just does everything. And for a guy like myself who is right now at 11.0, but when I first got these, I think I was like a 9, but it fluctuates between like at 8 and 11 handicap. I can play these with no problem. I don't have to worry about being like super laser precise like you would with like a forged cavity back. I get the little bit of distance that I like and need out of it because I have slowed down as I've gotten older. But these things just do all of that so well. And when you set them down, they have very minimal offset, kind of a thinner sole. They're a little bit bigger than the T100, but unless you're like have them side by side, you don't really notice that size difference. So a great looking iron that performs really well. I like the added speed to it, but it's not crazy long or crazy hot. It's got some spin. And again, easy to hit up high up in the air, easy to get into the greens and land softly. So I gamed these for a long time. As soon as I got them, up until the end of last year, I gamed these. So this whole set, and they're all kind of good old friends. But the new T-Series kind of inspired me to break them out. Let's give them another run here, and we'll play these. And these, just like the 5 iron, shafted up with Aerotech steel fiber I110CWs. Again, really like this shaft because it is easy to throw that ball up in the air and get a lot of height, which I need. I'm not a super high ball hitter, so something that goes a little higher helps me land it into the green softer and hold more greens as you go from 6, iron and down. But yeah, really love this set. The cheaters, the original cheaters for me, but big fan of the T150s. So after pitching wedge, we're going to go to gap wedge, and it's funny, gap wedge is going to be kind of my gamer from last year, and this is the PXG Sugar Daddy 3. This is the 5010 S grind. So these came out, was it early last year? But these things here, they came out, they added this S grind, which I think is really great. 10 degrees of bounce. I think it plays like it has a little bit more than that. But these Sugar Daddy 3s, I think, are extremely soft. And they spin like crazy. They kind of have this this groove that's kind of designed to be, I think it's like slightly, I can't remember what they say on it, but it's slightly different to work with the different lofts, and that groove just puts a ton of spin on the ball. Whether you're hitting it out of the rough, out of the fairway, the ball just seems to check up really hard. And again, these things feel fantastic. So they are 3 times forged out of 8620 carbon steel, but they have a fully milled back, milled sole. Everything about them is really high end. I mean, I know they're expensive, but this thing, when you set it down, looks really good. There's just a touch of offset to it, but I think overall it looks really solid. I think PXG did a nice job with these, but this is a great wedge that puts a ton of spin on the ball. So really like this one here. I love hitting kind of more fuller shots with it, but I also love chipping and pitching with it around the green. And this is shafted up with a Project X 6.0 wedge shaft. So this is the wedge version of the Project X. So 6.0 stiff, and what they did was basically match the weight of the Project X shafts, but made this shaft a little bit softer. So if you played Project X 6.0s, you would basically play this shaft. Or if you played a Project X 6.5, you'd buy the 6.5 wedge shaft. And what you're getting is the same weight, so you don't have to go like to a softer shaft and lose weight. It keeps the same weight as the iron shaft, so this is 120 grams, but it makes it a little bit softer for those like kind of touch shots around the green. But super consistent, still has some spin to it, but really, really nice shafts around the green. So that is the gap wedge, and then the sand wedge is going to be its sibling, which is the 5610 S grind. Now I play a lot of S grinds in 56-degree wedges because they typically have a little bit wider, a little bit fuller sole, and for me, I tend to get a little over the top and steep on it. It kind of helps shallow out some divots, good turf interaction, gets through really quickly. I love that these have kind of a very rounded leading edge, some trailing edge relief. They get through the turf pretty quickly. Now this one here, if you open it up, that leading edge comes off the ground a little bit, but I don't open up a 56 that often unless I'm in a bunker, because this is my bunker club as well. But same thing as the 50, this thing just spins a ton. You hit it around the greens, and it just checks up harder than most of the wedges I've hit. So I don't know what the PXG is doing with these things, but they check up hard, and I like that about them. And I also love, you know, the soft feel. But this is a great wedge. Again, I kind of, you know, fell in love with this last year. I got fit for him, I got him, and then I didn't really play him right away, and then I put him back in the bag to try him, and I was just hitting balls in the greens, and I was just amazed at how well I could stop it. So the 5610S plays really well. It's really versatile. Play it out of the bunker really easily. Play it on soft conditions around here, and it is supposed to rain all day tomorrow up until the afternoon, so it could be pretty soft out there for our round. But the 5610S grind from the Sugar Daddy 3, and shaft-wise, same thing. Project X 6.0 wedge shaft, which, again, a little bit softer, still 120 grams, offers a little flatter, more controllable ball flight. So I've liked those a lot. You can definitely tell they're a touch softer, too, and you kind of have them. They've got a little bit more feel than a standard Project X 6.0 that you have in an iron shaft. But really good shafts there. And then for lob wedge, we're going to go back to Vokey, but we're going to go a little different. So last week was the V grind. This is the A+ grind, the WedgeWorks A+ grind. And this was actually my gamer before I got the V grind. I kind of fell in love with this one. And just this, an A+ grind is basically an M grind where they grind down the center, the grind line. You know, where the M grind, you'll see kind of where the bounce is. This one here, they kind of grind it down to make it more smooth. It was something that Aaron Dill worked with a few PGA players. They wanted something that got through the turf a little bit better, so they ground that off. But it's got a little bit of a wider sole, but still has a good amount of kind of camber to it. So it floats really well. It gets through the turf great. And if you need to play it out of the bunker, it's really good there as well. But what I love about this is that if you open the face just a touch, you can really kind of thump it into the turf, and it doesn't dig. You don't have to worry about it catching, you know, heavy or anything like that. It just works really well there. And that's kind of the way I hit 60-degree wedges. I'm not like a throw it wide open and like glide it under. I don't quite have that skill set. So something where I can play it, maybe just a hair open, but kind of get it into the turf and know I can do it without worrying about it stopping or losing speed. It works really well. So I was really impressed with this grind when it came out. I didn't think it was kind of going to be for me just because of the wider sole on it, but it's worked really well. So this was my gamer, like I said, up until I got the V grind, which just has more bounce to it. But A grind I like a lot, and then this is shafted up the same shaft, the Project X 6.0 wedge shaft, which is, like I said, really good in the wedges. I think they did a nice job with these. I know that Project X is kind of known as like a low spin shaft, but it definitely doesn't spin that much for me. So, they do spin a good amount in the wedges, which is nice. So that is that. And then for putter, we're going to go with something new. It is going to be the new Even Roll Carlsbad series. This one here is basically the M1, which is kind of a mallet with kind of the bars on the back, but something different. This is kind of their Carlsbad line, which is a little bit less expensive than their standard models. And I believe they're actually like cast heads that have a little bit of milling to them to kind of finish them off. And then they still do have the sweet face on there, but it's an insert, so it's a steel insert on there. But it is an insert. It does feel a touch softer than the standard ones. When you hit it, I think they're, however they mounted this this insert in there, whether there's some tape behind it or some glue or whatever it is, it does feel like it softens up this putter just a touch. But I love the look of it. It looks really good from address. It's kind of a bigger mallet. It's got just a kind of a slant neck on it, so it's got some toe hang. Not as much as I thought from having that slant neck. It must be just because of the length of it, but it's kind of got a typical amount of toe hang you'd see from like a plumber's neck or something like that, but only half shaft offset. So love the look of this thing from address. It looks really good. It swings great. The balance of it as it swings, it just feels really stable. It's easy to swing there. It's got a black steel shaft in it, and this kind of oversized even roll Carlsbad grip, which is just a little bit longer than a traditional grip. I don't know if it's like a 13-inch, or I don't know if 12 is regular, then this is like a 13. I don't think it's quite 15, but it's got a nice kind of flat top, rounded bottom to it. It fits well in the hands. I choked down on it just a touch, but it feels really good. It rolls the ball really well, and I think this is going to be a solid putter. I've been looking forward to putting this one in the bag to try it because just down here, I've been really impressed with how it rolls. So excited to get it on the course. But single sight line should be easy to line up. Everything about it is pretty solid, but these are a little bit less than the standard even roll models. So that's going to be a good one out there. I think I should be fairly solid putting. And then for ball, it's going to be cold this week. I think it's supposed to only be like mid-50s. So for ball, I'm going to go with something a little bit softer. I'm going to go with the Tour Response Stripe from TaylorMade. So this is kind of their under the TP5 line. This is basically a ball that's still cast urethane cover. So it's still got some good spin, greenside control, but it's a little bit softer and built for maybe a little more distance. And I think when it's cold out, hopefully I can kind of negate a little bit of that cold weather with a ball that goes a little bit further. But I'm a big fan of the TaylorMade stripe on here. I know some other brands are making similar kind of stripe balls, but this wider stripe on here, I feel like I line up really well. When I set it up to line up for a putt, I'm not like precise trying to get like that millimeter perfect. I get it to kind of where I need it and I just hit the putt. But I've had a lot of success with the TP5 version of this. So excited to hit it in the Tour Response stripe. So that's going to be ball there. Hopefully it'll get me a little bit of that distance that I'll lose in the cold weather. And then for rangefinder, I haven't even unwrapped it yet. This is going to be the new FlightScope i4 rangefinder. So this one here, I've got to log in. I'm going to do it right after I film this video. I'm filming this on Wednesday. But I'm going to go on there and set this up. This will actually, you can go in there and you put all your distances. You can either hit balls on a FlightScope launch monitor and sync it up all your distances, or you can type in your distances. And when you laser something, it's going to take in the slope, the temperature, everything, you know, how you hit your irons, all that, and it's going to take it in and recommend the right club on each shot. So some cool new technology. I know it's, you know, not the only one doing something like that, but this is pretty cool. They showed it at the PGA show and it was pretty impressive. So it's going to have all that kind of stuff on it. So excited to try it out and give it a whirl. It even takes into consideration wind as well. So all those things are really, really interesting with this one. So I'm going to bust this thing open as soon as I'm done recording, and I'm going to set it up so it's ready to go for tomorrow. But that is it. That is the what's in the bag for week 6. So check back next week. We'll go through what worked, what didn't, how things went. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed that the rain holds away and we get to play. So week 6, what's in the bag? Check back next week.